Hi, this is Todd for Song vs. Song. We are, of course, still on summer break, but to give you something to tide you over in the meantime, we are going to unlock this bonus episode on Wicked. Hope you like it. This is one of our bonus episodes that we put up exclusively on Patreon, and if you want more of this, you can go over there, toss us $1 or $2, and you will get the entire backlog of bonus episodes that we've been doing for like 5 years now. I hope you like it. Here we go. Hi, I'm Todd Nathanson.
And I am Lena Morgan.
This is a Song vs. Song Patreon episode bonus exclusive. Bonus episode Patreon exclusive, whatever. Every month, you guys pick what we watch, and we try and have thoughts about it, and boy, do we have thoughts today. This month, you guys picked Wicked.
Here's what's happened. I have already said this on Blue Sky. I will repeat it for people who don't follow me there. It was very clear to me because Wicked has kind of come and gone from the voting apparatus that is Song vs. Song on patreon.com. And I was like, it's not going to happen. But it will happen after the sequel is out in theaters so that they can get us to talk about both. And what I would say to that is, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now.
And because we are talking about two movies, we decided we needed help. So everybody, welcome back into the pod studio, one Miss Sarah Zed.
Hello! Well, thank goodness I am here because I'm very happy to be back. In fact, one might even say I couldn't be happier.
Yes, this is an exciting time because obviously, I think we've talked about this before, Todd, that before the first movie came out, you were visiting in town. You said, we should go and see Wicked, the Broadway show, before the movie is out. And I was like, And you said, I'll pay. And I was like, well, go to the Broadway show. And then we went, and I was like, wow, what a great one-act musical. Never been one before. And then there was a second act, and I was like, wow, this is, and I mean, listen, for those who don't know, second acts very famously troubled in a lot of Broadway shows. It's not an uncommon problem, but I still thought at the time, this is exceptionally bad as a second act. I really did not like it. But now, they made not one, but two movies. And that's an opportunity, right? So one of the big questions we'll be asking is certainly Wicked for Good as a sequel rather than a second act, changed for the better, but was it changed for good?
Who can say? Maybe we can.
Us. The answer is the three of us. But I guess, do we want to start there? Have we all seen some version of the musical as a stage entity?
Oh, yes.
No, that's funny. Me and Lena, I guess Wicked is very important to our friendship because we saw it together. That is an experience I've had with no one else.
That's true. It's just you and me.
But my experience with Wicked goes actually way back before that because despite never being a Broadway person in my life, one of my girlfriends back in the day was super into Wicked. To the point where it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll try to get into it. And that meant borrowing her copy of Wicked the book.
Oh,
and
that's interesting.
So, yeah, I started right from the very beginning. And how many people here have read Gregory Maguire's Wicked? Lena, I know you haven't.
I have.
Sarah, you have.
But I was 12, so I internalized some of it.
The only thing I can add to this is that, Todd, as you know, my wife is a huge L. Frank Baum nerd. It's her, she doesn't do fandom because she thinks she's too good, which she is. But if she had a fandom, it would be Oz. She has I think just so much Oz stuff, literally on her body. She has multiple copies of every book. She knows the stuff in and out. She fucking hates those Wicked books. God, does she hate them? She is not a fan. And when we get to it, I told her the ending of Wicked for Good. And then she explained how, quote, that's not how deserts work in the land of Oz. As though this was going to be the thing that went
accurate.
Yes. Yeah, and I was like, that's the reason why I don't like it. It's the deserts.
All right.
But yes, that's the only thing that I really brought into Wicked before we went and saw it as a stage thing.
After reading the book, I haven't read any of the original Oz books, and I haven't read any of Maguire's other books. But like one serious problem I have with the Wicked show and the movies and all that is that it was based on these books, and it gives Gregory Maguire money, and that should not happen because that is one of the fucking worst pieces of garbage I've ever fucking read. Like, maybe I need to read more books, but like it's down there. It is garbage. Sarah, I think you have the face you're making suggests you have more complicated thoughts about it than I do.
I don't disagree. I think that but I also just think that they are so fundamentally different. Like, it seems to me that the stage show didn't want Wicked. They wanted to have come up with the idea of Wicked before Gregory Maguire and are mad that they didn't. And so it is just so very loosely based on it that, yeah, but I was one of those people who was like a young teen.
Not loosely enough.
Yeah. I was one of those people who's like a young teen who was into the stage show. I think I saw it like 4 or 5 times on Broadway. I wrote my Wicked fan fiction, including at least one self-insert Wicked fan fiction where my self-insert gets to become friends with Elphaba.
You just have to.
Of course. It was kind of my first introduction to Toxic Yuri, so I'm always grateful to it for that. But I thought, oh, this is great. It's based on a book. Let me read this book. And I was interested at first. The pages were green. That ended up being the highest point. I did not care for it either. But I sympathize with the people who wished that they had come up with Elphaba and Shiz first.
All right, so me and Lena watched it for the first time a couple years ago, right before the first movie came out, and I did not know a single thing about it, even though I was dating such a wicked head. Like, I had vaguely caught on to knowing what defying gravity was, and that was literally the sum of my knowledge. And Popular, like I'd heard Popular once or twice.
You have to. Mika.
Right. So, yes, that is part of why I know it through Mika, and his duet partner won Ariana Grande on that song. She's a singer.
Oh, okay.
She's a singer. Well said, Todd. But okay, so we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like we were at least at the end of Act 1 pretty lockstep, right? We were like, that first act was good.
The girl who did Glinda, fucking killed it. Just absolutely tore the house down.
I'm very glad that we don't remember who, just because, like, I will say that watching it, like, having never seen it before, having not read the books, like, I thought, this is good. This relationship with these two characters is compelling. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, it's gay.
Oh, yeah. No.
The thing is that, like, it didn't, at least for me, read in the stage version that we saw. Like, I didn't watch it and think, like, wow, my cat is attacking my feet. Wow. Like, there's so much gay shit happening here. And then Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are just, like, literally the second that they're on screen at the same time, the entire movie pivots.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, there's a, like, it's not that there's nothing queer going on prior to that. However, like,
it's a lot more up for interpretation. Like, there's a lot of different ways you can read the stage show, but I think both of the movies really leaned in. One of the lines, and I don't know how y'all saw it on the stage show, but it's specifically the line where Fiyero is using the threat of hurting Glinda to try to get Elphaba safe, and Glinda comes up and she says, oh, he was never going to hurt me. And in the stage show, the actor often delivered it as, oh, he loves her. Like, this realization, the same line, he loves her, but the realization is, oh, it was never me, was it? In the film, Ariana Grande delivers it as, he loves her, with the implication being, oh, me too, therefore I understand. So, yeah, same basic structure, but they really played into it for the movie. She puts her in a closet at the end. She says, go into the closet because I have to die now. Like,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It sure is something. And then we get the Shrek ending. And then it's just Shrek.
Then I saw her face. No. So this person, whoever has been requesting Wicked, has been doing it for a good solid year, and it only caught once the sequel was out, and I don't think that was intentional because it came really close to winning a bunch of times, and I was really looking forward to it, and I was always disappointed when it didn't win.
But this was the right time, Todd.
Yeah.
This was when it had to happen.
It's going to be a different podcast now that we've seen both, because like I think both of us together came away with the same conclusion for the first movie, which was, oh my God, that fucking whipped.
Yes, we both loved the first movie. I think we were both exasperated by how much we liked it, because like I wasn't like expecting to hate it, but I watched it and I was like, oh, extremely good. A 10 out of 10 no notes type of movie, right? Like I loved that. And that is, of course, why Wicked for Good was destined to suffer, because like I was like, there's no way. Because like the one thing that I will say that the first movie and the first act of the stage musical have in common is you get to the end and I'm like, great. I actually don't need any more story. I feel like we've covered it. Good job. Like, it wasn't that I was like going in being like, I'm so nervous that we're about to have the Tin Man be an avid listener of the Joe Rogan Experience. That wasn't what I thought was going to happen. And then was like, Cowardly Lion, you come and listen to it too. But like, I don't know. I just thought that's good enough for me. I don't really need more story. I think the movie gave me a little more. Like I was like, I guess it's possible. This first movie is so good, and we've got such great actors, like really like wonderful, like on-screen chemistry. Like there's a possibility that they could pull it out and make it great. And at least one person here feels that that's what happened.
I do.
And I will tell you that like it's exciting just because like nobody, I mean, like there are people that like to hate movies, not me. I hate hating things, not fun. Like if you can give me a compelling reason, what happens is that I get to go watch it again. And then maybe I will be a convert. And I dream of being a convert to Wicked for Good. So I look forward to getting to that point. But let's talk about the first movie first, I guess.
Slaps and whips.
Yeah. What did we like about the first movie? What was it that made it exceptional?
You know, like it's I didn't rewatch it. Maybe I should have, but I remember liking it a lot. And I remember being extremely about them splitting it into two movies. I was on that bandwagon right away because one, it's now we have one good thing labeled Wicked, one that's just good all the way through. And secondly, like I was very sure that like they both needed the space of their own separate movie. Like they both needed, like as one movie, that would be just the most crammed, bloated thing, or it'd be just too short. So I was very happy they split it into two. I wasn't really expecting it to be good. Do you remember how bad the buzz was for this?
I mean, the actors were annoying. Some casting was like, felt really uncertain. I was prepared to hate it.
The trailer got like a very bad reaction, I remember, because of how it looked. Which
From us, I definitely remember that for sure. I do seem to recall there being like an overall, like the vibes were bad.
A lot of people, myself included, were very critical of Ariana Grande, Glinda. It didn't seem like it should work. You know, beforehand, everyone's like, oh, well, technically she's on Broadway. And it's like, she was on Broadway for a Jason Robert Brown musical when she was 13. Like, that was not enough to convince me. I was hesitant as well.
Yeah, I don't remember when I realized, like, holy shit, I am enjoying the shit out of this. But I remember, like, being impressed with Ariana immediately.
She was amazing.
Like, yeah. Like, I don't think she won the Oscar that year. But, like, I would have given it to her because she lit up the fucking screen. And, it, like, she did it so well that she's more or less given up on making music for the time being. She was like, I am going to act. I'm an actress now. And, like, who could blame her? I don't quite remember when it really started working for me, but I want to say right when what's-his-face Fierro has his musical number.
Dancing Through Life. And it's so unapologetically a musical, especially that number, which is what really did it for me. And John M. Chu, I think, you know, has done that in the past, which is one thing that did make me optimistic. But so many movie musicals are, you know, and everybody says this, it's not a novel take, but they do feel like they're embarrassed to be musicals. You know, your Les Mises and what have you, your Dear Evan Hansen's. Like something with big ensemble casts doing dance numbers. And I believe there was live singing, but live singing that was Broadway style rather than Hugh Jackman whispering out of beat was just so incredibly refreshing. And it allowed itself to be larger than life while still, you know, you can have close-ups, you can have moments where it draws in and lets you see little, you know, micro humanity that you might not be able to as easily get on stage, but it was also not afraid to bring spectacle, which was so refreshing to me because I was very prepared for CGI creatures and extreme close-ups and just more of the same, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Hey, Lena, when did it start working for you? Or like, when did you like fully give in?
Ironically, I think it was Loathing. Unadulterated Loathing.
Yeah.
Yes, that was like that whole opening where like, because like it's a perfect encapsulation of what makes those two actors work so well together. Is like you've got Ariana Grande like doing all that like very florid stuff, but like in a way that's very silly, where she's describing, you know, Elphaba, and then Elphaba just like says blonde. And like it's so good. It's so, I mean, like obviously that's already like in the text, right? Like that's right there. But their execution of that is dynamic. It's funny. It like, I don't know. And then that entire sequence is just incredible. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, I am going to like this movie all the way through. It would be so hard for them to biff it from this point onward.
So how do you think of Cynthia Erivo? Like, was that, like, I'm not a Broadway person. Was that considered like a good casting move at the time?
I think some people were worried that she would be too old, is one critique that I saw, just because they do play university students in the first act. But, I mean, in my opinion, Elphaba is not a hard role to act, but it is a very hard role to sing. And that was, I think, the primary criteria. I think Glinda, you have to be a little bit more memorably characterful. Elphaba is a bit more of a grounded character. And I think everybody was on board with her ability to sing the role very early on. It was just, you know, can she play this age? Which, you know, when you put someone in green face paint, I think becomes much less of a concern. Yeah, it covers up the wrinkles. Yeah. Yeah, our Elphaba was fine when we saw it on the stage. But like Glinda is the more the more fun role, or the more demanding role, I guess, as far as acting goes. God, like I'm not sure I ever liked the way it looked exactly, because I remember that's the big complaint about from the trailer, that it looked flat, or it looked washed out, or it looked like bad green screen, and I never really had a problem with that. Like it's all true. It did look like the way it looked. But it just didn't bother me when I was watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I rewatched it last night, and I was like, I know that empirically this is not good. This is not like in my mind's eye of what I want Oz to look like. It's not this. But like, at no point was I thinking it's taking me out of the story, of the movie, of everything, right? Like that was sort of the line, right? Like if it had gone, and I can't even, it's very difficult to express what it was that, or what was absent that made it so that I didn't suddenly lose my ability to like remain bought in. But there's some threshold that they never quite crossed for me.
I have a theory, and I don't know if this is correct, but one thing I did notice is that, yes, the color grading was a little washed out, but I did not find the color grading washed out once we got to the Emerald City and once we got to One Short Day. And I think it might have been that the contrast maybe was an intentional choice, and allowing things to be a little bit more brought to life when we get to the exciting Osmopolitan city. Maybe that's what made it not so jarring.
It could have been. I mean, like certainly there is a built-in idea of like Wizard of Oz being in black and white before it goes into color. So like I think that there's I mean, like we can sort of I could see that as like a potential intentional aesthetic choice. I'm not sure I believe it, but like, I don't know. I think that, so also there's like another thing that I think about, which is like, Todd, have you ever seen the movie The Mist?
Yes, 2007
the Frank
Darabont
movie.
starring
Yeah,
Thomas Jane, yes.
So that movie looks terrible in color, and it looks better in black and white. It doesn't look great, but it made it so that some of the special effects, without all of that added color, looked a little more reasonable. Like it was easier to buy in, like it blended in with the rest of the story a little bit better. And I wonder if the saturation choices had an impact on how some of those CGI characters looked for me. Because I was less bothered, because I really thought they were going to bug me, right? Mm-hmm. I thought, like, this is good. I'm going to hate this. Every time there's an animal talking, I'm going to despise this. Not because I despise talking animals, but because the CGI going in, again, the vibes were bad. I wonder if some of the saturation choices or desaturation choices might have influenced the way they read on screen.
Do we want to go right into the fucking second act? Like, I can tell you, like, really quick on the first movie, the part where they start talking, the animals start talking about how bad things have gotten under the fucking wizard. That movie came out right after the election, and it hit me in the gut. Like, it feels lame to be talking about fucking Wicked as a, politics, but like,
but that's literally what it is. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. And what's interesting about it, this is like, I mean, I'll let you finish your thought in a moment, but just like, one of the weird questions that I have about my own reaction is when I watched the second one, I was like, God, I just feel like I'm getting beat over the head. But like, I was beat over the head in the first movie and I fucking loved it.
I actually agree on that, Lena. Just at least in terms of the they added 2 new songs, but specifically in terms of No Place Like Home, I really liked Wicked Part 2. I did not like the new song. For that same reason, I did feel kind of beat over the head with it, just in terms of like, firstly, I feel like it has the same problem that a lot of those new songs for a musical have, where it feels like they're designed to be listened to on their own, on streaming with no connection to the musical. Whereas, it's like the Greatest Showman problem. Whereas, when you actually think about the most memorable songs, they are unapologetically musical songs. They're inseparable from their context. Mm-hmm. Whereas the scene where it is like, oh, things have gotten really bad, should we leave or should we stay and fight for our home, is kind of, to me, it's just a thesis statement that is set to music in terms of just, Oz is a metaphor for America, fighting for your home is good, don't give up. And to me, like, the specificity that makes the musical songs work is gone. But like, because I don't think you need it, in the sense that like, Wonderful is right there, and it is about how charlatans use showmanship to maintain power. But to me, that felt like it was more conveyed through character and story. But I'm also, I don't live in America. We're very inundated with what is going on there, but that also might be influencing my perspective in terms of it feeling a little bit too heavy-handed.
At the end of 2024, when I saw the movie, it hit me in a way that it did not hit me when we saw it on stage. And I don't know if it was more pointed because they actually emphasized it more in the movie, or if I was just kind of feeling raw from, current events. I think
they did, because they added scenes, like everyone in the secret meeting.
Yeah, I don't remember any kind of that scene happening on stage or anything kind of familiar with it. Like, it felt just like something that was happening. Like, maybe if you saw it back when it was new in 2003 or 2004 or whenever, the political subtext might have hit harder too. Like, as I understand, it was kind of.
What do you mean, 2003? I mean, like, it's so funny because we were, when we were recording the last main episode of the podcast, we were talking about Darlene Love doing Christmas Baby Please Come Home on David Letterman every single year. And like, when I watched the YouTube mega cut of every single one, it was like, as soon as you hit 2002, 2003, like before they would lead into her doing the song, it would be, and here's a soldier like in Afghanistan and talking about stuff. And like, it just went straight through. And I was like, right, that war was forever. And that Wicked kind of like came out as a stage musical in that context. It does seem as though like if we had gone back and seen it at that time, perhaps like we would have reacted differently. and like felt that it was a little more prescient, that it might have felt a little more textual. You know, I think what you were saying, Todd, is that like, you know, we're living suddenly in a different time. I felt the same way. You know, we saw the stage musical like over the summer, and it was like a last hurrah for my old face. And like after that, like between when we saw the stage show and when I saw it, the movie, it was like, oh, I can't hide anymore because now I have gotten a number of major surgeries on a part of my body that cannot be hidden. So like I was also feeling very raw. Like even if Trump had not become the president, I still would have been really thinking about it because I had changed within the space of this country that we live in.
Yeah, well, yeah. So when this movie came out, I started really like holding space with that and finding power in that. So it hit. And
when the straight man says he's holding space.
Yeah.
Are you in queer
I
media?
still have no idea. Basically.
Yeah, actually.
So for me, like the political subtext and the, you know, fucking animals being persecuted and all that shit, you know, it was like, oh man, it's like, I know it was meant as a criticism of Bush back in the day, but everything old is new again, baby. So.
And I mean, I think it's that much harder, right? Because like the wizard is much more Trumpian than he is like W. Bush. Like, especially like, you know, I mean, I think that probably would have always been true, but like Jeff Goldblum's performance, like you really feel it. It's like the ways in which Donald Trump's oration, the way that he talks, the way that he is able to manipulate people in a way. Cause like, I don't know, this is like a weird tangent, but like if you watch him on television, if you just watch him for a protracted period of time, even if you're the one he's out to eradicate, you'll catch yourself smiling at him. He's very fucking good at what he does. And Jeff Goldblum does the same thing, right? Like he just keeps going exactly long enough. And it's not just that he's constantly like at 100% that makes him likable. It's that he has these moments of like, he's unsure, like he's a little goofy. He's not quite lucid because he's Jeff Goldblum, you know? And those are the things that make you really like him. So like the parallels really connect.
Yeah. I was not politically active in 2003 because I was a child, so please do correct me if I'm wrong on this. My understanding is that the biggest thing that Bush was hated for was like, you know, how people overseas were treated. I mean, soldiers themselves too, but also like the war in Iraq and specifically so persecuting the citizens of other countries. Whereas when I think of Trump, obviously, you know, he's doing horrible shit to people around the world, but the primary thing that we're sort of really talking about is like ICE and that kind of thing and prosecuting people within the country. And to that extent, I think the persecution of animals who, you know, live within Oz, I think reads as uniquely Trumpian in a way that, you know, rather than, you know, the wizard is looking for an enemy from outside, it's people who live here are being rooted out and imprisoned and removed from society, which I think also makes it really resonate politically in a way that the stage show might not.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I remember. Go ahead, Todd. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
There was a lot of talk of, you know, how Muslims were being treated during the Bush administration. So that's the closest parallel.
That makes sense.
But like, you know, like of all the awful things of the Bush administration, I think that would be like, you know, number 3 or number 4 on the list. Whereas like persecution of, you know, internal citizens is very much a Trump thing now. So
yeah, I mean, what I remember about, because I was in college. And the post 9/11 era, like the much larger issue was that we were going to go into a war that there was no exit strategy for by design, and that we were all expected to just go along with it because it was what was good, because America had been under attack. And so what I remember about that time was like I was mad at Bush, but I was angrier at Cheney because he felt more successful at pushing people towards it. But more than anything, I was mad at my fellow Ozians, right? My fellow citizens, because they all were like, well, but like we simply must. And I was like, but he's purposefully chosen the wrong target, right? He's chosen an enemy that fuels us in a very specific way and is good for him and is like got a weird like familial legacy thing, right? Like that's what I remember. This is like about nothing at all, but like that's what I remember from that time, right? Like having been in college, I remember being so angry because that's the time when you're in college is when you're angriest and most politically active, I think, for a lot of people. And like,
it wasn't for me.
It was for me, for sure. That was like, I think it certainly was like baby's first, like really like feelings of political upheaval and like just being mad at everybody else all the time for not being moral enough. But yeah, I mean, like, yes, that's what I remember from that time. So like W. Bush never really feels like the wizard to me. And I don't know that it would have quite hit in 2003 the same way. Would it have hit at all?
Yeah.
Maybe. But in 2024, the wizard as Trump is like 100%. It's like the Venn diagram might as well be a circle.
Jeff Goldblum's a much better speaker is like the only thing I can think of. And like, can I say, Jeff Goldblum is fucking great in these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Goldblum is fucking amazing. It's like, especially for a guy who can't really sing. So I really loved what they did with was it Sentimental Man? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Which I understand is not a particular favorite of the stage musical.
No one likes it.
Well, just the way they filmed it and shot it and staged it, it really hit for me, and I was like, and that Jeff Goldblum is a charming man. I'd vote for him. I'd make him my wizard.
You can really just have a green elixir with him, you know?
Yes. Because I'd read the book, I already knew what this was coming, but like, was it a surprise to anyone who were a fan of the stage show that Goldblum is Elphaba's dad? Was that supposed to be a big shock? Don't spoil it for people, or it's just kind of something that happens.
I mean, like when we saw it, it seemed immediately evident.
That's
the
what
stage show we were watching, and it was
there.
like, oh, like, yeah, it's just like right there. It's like so obviously textual. Like it didn't feel hidden. It didn't feel like a surprise.
Well, it's certainly not a surprise in the movie because that's clearly Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, and it's very weird. I mean, like, boy, when we get to the sequel, we should talk about like this idea of him like being so shocked. Like, it's very surprising. That's like one of my big beefs with the second movie is that like I'm just like, I don't believe it. I don't believe that he didn't know. That makes no sense to me. It makes no character sense. It makes no narrative sense. Like, it just bugs me deep fucking down.
It makes sense to me only because I don't get a sense that the Jeff Goldblum wizard remembers any of his hookups.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. That's just another notch in his, fancy green belt.
But he wants to be a dad so badly.
Yeah.
Like that, in the first movie, you could take it or leave it, whether or not you think that's intentional. But in the second movie, it's very explicit that, yes, he did, in fact, always want to be a dad. So that's a thing that's like, it just feels out of balance to me.
I don't know if he really did. I think he's just saying that. I think he likes the idea of being a dad insofar as he wants a little extension of himself, but I don't think he wants to be a dad enough to keep track of the women he's hooked up with and follow up on their lives and see if he has ever produced a child. Like, he's saying that to Elphaba, who has a shitty dad, to charm her.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, I don't know. I just feel like in the second movie, the way that it's shot, the way that he performs it, it feels as though I am being told not only that he did actually want to be a dad, and maybe he's just realizing it then, but that I am meant to feel a certain degree of sympathy for him, which is also pretty tricky. And like Jeff Goldblum, great. A certain kind of performer who I could feel empathy for, even when he's being a shithead. But like, the wizard is pretty fucking evil. So it's like, it's a lot. They really ask a lot in that second movie.
Before we move on, I want to say I really loved how he staged all of the, how John M. Chu directed all of the musical sequences. And I say that as someone who was not particularly a fan of In the Heights, but that's more on Lin-Manuel, I think. I really loved the way he did Popular. I really loved the way he did Dancing Through Life. Mm-hmm. In fact, the one shot of Elphaba trying to study in the library is like, I can't. These people fucking dancing, singing everywhere. I gotta.
So good.
Yeah, I think that's the part where I officially became fully on board with it.
I really like the costume that Ariana Grande wears in Popular.
I'm gonna
like
look that
there's
up
something
really quick.
very like it's because it's like they're like it's all legs, but then like she's wearing so much up top. Like it's a real like it's drag is what it is. Like it's such a drag piece, and it plays very well. And like Ariana Grande gets to like express like a lot of different things, but like it's so funny, and like the costume doesn't feel like a joke. Like it doesn't. She's not like a full clown, but like it's silly. It is a silly thing that she is wearing. And like, it's so much like shoulder work and like, it's so good. And like, I think that also we should give a little something to the costume designer in this. Like, I think that is really like some incredible work. I think, especially for Glinda, I think that the way that they dress her is so perfectly designed to make her somehow right in between poised and ridiculous. Like it's really well executed.
It's really strong. I loved the uniforms for Shiz. I don't know what it is about it, but I think that's also a great mix of like the traditional kind of monotony that you would expect from Ivy League students, and then we can be a little silly with it.
Yeah, I really like Bowen Yang's stuff. Like a lot of his costumes that he gets are really good because it's like very suit driven on the top, but then the skirts on the bottom, and they're like asymmetrical a little bit. It's very smart. It's really, really well played.
All right. Well, after the triumph of Wicked Part 1, we were all kind of dreading. It's like, so can they fix Part 2? And I was holding out hope because, you know, I always said the big problem, well, one of the big problems with that second act is that it just doesn't have time to breathe. Mm-hmm. Everything seems to be just moving way, 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 way too quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's like, would the more length help? And the answer is yes, to an extent. They did what they could. It helped, but like it turns out, like my thought after watching the second movie was like, oh man, if you make the second act into one movie, that means you can move all the second act problems into the second act of the second act. So we've got 3/4 of a good movie now, or a good story now, and then it all just kind of falls apart at the end. I was still enjoying myself, Lena. I know, like, even halfway through, you were just like, this is such garbage. This is disaster. What was your problem with it? Like,
it's really hard to, I mean, like, again, I wish I'd had a little extra time to go and watch the sequel in theaters again, just to kind of like reprocess it. But it did feel very on the nose in a way that I didn't like on the second time. And maybe part of that is like, well, now I've spent a year in fucking Clownland under President Trump. And like, I don't know that I really need that. But like, yeah, there would be things that would happen. Like it's hard for me to look at it holistically because there are strange moments that directly bother me so much that I forget about everything else, right? Like the Tin Man stuff, like, and it feels trite, right? Because everybody's talked it to death, but like when it happens and they start like having him have these scenes where he's like, we're going to kill that fucking witch. I'm like, geez, like, oh my God. Like it really is like he started, like he got into the manosphere. Like what happened? Like, I just hate it so much. And then they're like, oh, and here's the cowardly lion. And like, it's her fault. Don't you see, for like protecting him. And like, he should have figured it out on his own. And like, he also wasn't allowed to be a man. And I was like, this is painful. But the grudge I hold, and I think I put it in my Letterboxd review, even though I didn't hear anybody else complaining about it. In the first movie, they establish, like, you see the lion. The lion is in a cage. And they explain, like, this is called a cage because in the wonderful land of Oz, there ain't never been fucking cages before. We get to the end of this movie, and Glinda is like, hey, Michelle Yeoh, we've got all these free cages. Which one are we putting you in, bitch? And I was like, wait a minute.
They were that makes sense. There were cages under the wizard place where they were keeping the goat. They were all built in like the last couple of years.
But like, it's not that they don't exist. It's that like I was like I thought that she was changed for good.
Oh,
I don't think there's anything good about Glinda being like, well, we still have all of these cages. Like, wouldn't it be like, let's get rid of the cages? We didn't have them before. Why the fuck would we have them now? Like, that's the whole point. You get rid of the cages. You don't put the villain in one. That's like, I don't know. This is like real like my prison abolitionist side showing, but like it really fucking bothered me. I was like, we literally lived in a world where there were no cages, where they were invented by someone from Earth, from our world. And like he left. When he's gone, you realize, well, we didn't actually need them in the first place. And it bothered me so much that it was like the predominant thought that I had. I don't want to. Don't you shake your head at me. This is valid.
No, I'm throwing the flag on this one. You can't get mad about this.
I can't. What the fuck? I can't. I can be as mad as I want to be.
I don't think Glinda is woke enough to be like, I think we should subject Morrible to restorative justice. I think that's just something that is so tied to the source material that it would be such a wild departure that I don't think they could pull it off. To me.
I stand by it. It just like there were no cages before. The man leaves and it's like we didn't need them in the first place. It drives me up a wall. I understand that it's silly, but like it really kind of stayed with me. And also like, man, Glinda doesn't know that Elphaba is still alive. Those two bitches are supposed to be together at the end. I know that's not how it actually played out, but like you guys played the first movie so gay. So gay. Just go there. Just give us the right ending. Give us the I got all the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic the Hedgehog Part 2, and give me the real fucking ending. I ask so little.
The real ending is a gay tragedy.
Let them be together. Let them cook.
You didn't...
and don't put them in the desert because according to my wife, nothing living can set foot in any of the deserts outside of Oz. You would die immediately. And while I guess the Scarecrow would be fine because he's not alive, Elphaba, despite them pretending she's dead, is a living soul and therefore would die in the desert. So it's not in the canon.
Does it affect the canon that she is the child of someone from Earth? Does that mean she can go into the desert dimension? Or I thought the desert dimension was dumb too, for what it's worth, just because like we don't need more lore. We need to expand on what we already have. But her being half like Earth human, could that get past it?
Could it?
We'll have to ask Raven.
But yes, but would my wife put up with it? No.
That's fair.
We know the answer to this question is that she found it unacceptable. Mm-hmm. And as a real L. Frank Baum dweeb, I take her word on it.
Okay. When we watched the stage show, we were just kind of like baffled at how bad the second act was. Like it was like shockingly bad. Having read the book, I do know that Bach does not turn into the fucking Tin Man. All right. In fact, the book is bad because it just has no interest in the original movie whatsoever, and like, or the original story, and it just like doesn't treat it with any respect whatsoever. The stage musical is bad because it does the opposite, and it tries to cram the plot of The Wizard of Oz into this story, which has absolutely no use for it. And this is a problem that, for me, carried over to the movie. Every time it had to acknowledge the events of The Wizard of Oz, the entire thing just crumbled to dust for me. It just was so stupid, and it made no sense. And, now that I know that Bach turns into the Tin Man, I was numb to it the second time, but it's still just the fucking stupidest thing, right? It's just like the fuckingest shoehorn crowbar, references in there, even though it makes absolute zero fucking sense. What are we doing? And why is he so different from the Tin Man we saw in the fucking original movie?
Maybe he's a really mean guy, but he's very nice to kids. Because he could never have them with Nessa Rose because he didn't want to live that life.
It does. I will say this thing rings true with me, Todd, which is that like it makes me think of there's a Star Trek show called Strange New Worlds. And when it's set like before Kirk, it's like the guy who was the captain of the Enterprise before Kirk, this guy, Christopher Pike. And like when they just let it be that, it's like, well, this is what the Enterprise was like that time before. When it's just that, and they're exploring their own stuff, it's great. But the more that they try and fuck with, like, here's Kirk, someday he's going to be the captain. Here's Spock. Things have to go a certain way for Spock, because if they don't, then the timeline will be fucked up and it has to go a certain way. Otherwise, everything would go wrong. The more beholden it becomes to the source material, the more the ways in which prequels can be bad make the thing a bad prequel. And I feel kind of similarly with Wicked for Good, which is that, like, as soon as we start seeing the silhouette of Dorothy Gale, it's like, but I could be watching that. And also it just doesn't, like, it doesn't for me really connect. Like, I never go like, there's a way for them to get to a place where this all feels like it's of a piece with The Wizard of Oz. No. Like, I don't know what the right thing to do is, but it didn't feel like it quite nailed it. It is possible in this case that there is literally nothing that could be done that would have made me personally happy. That's a thing that I have to live with. It may be me.
I mean, no, it just sucks. It just fucking sucks. It's not just you. It's genuinely quite bad.
I'm going to defend the Bach transformation. Yeah. I think that it worked. I love the way it was shot, for one. Like, it's a fucking scene from The Shining. I think that rules.
I did like that he went
just chopping down.
I did like that they went the full Shining with it. It was like, if he's going to be a bad guy, let's make the Tin Man someone fucking scary.
Like the body horror, the hand curling around the axe. I think that rules.
Yeah.
My one quibble actually with that scene is musically, which is I love when Nessa sings the little Wicked Witch of the East thing. And in the stage show, there's like this harmony with Elphaba doing her little magical chanting in the background. And I love that part. To me, it's chills. It's great. And they didn't have Elphaba. And that was sad because I really like it musically. But to me, I think that the origin stories, I think that, like, the Scarecrow stuff with Fiyero, that's always kind of awkward. It's just like, oh yeah, he's here at the end. But I think that the stuff with Bach, in terms of, I think the tragedy of getting to see this guy be like awkward little SpongeBob, and then, oh, you know, you love the wrong woman, you're trapped by this desperation, you know, you're transformed just in terms of accidental magic. I really, really like, you know, we sort of have joked about this like manosphere thing, but I really like the fact that he gets a literal transformation from being spurned by a woman. Someone else, you know, wants him in the wrong moment, and he then dedicates himself to finding another woman to blame. I think that works great. I think that the Oz connection, in terms of, you know, literally becoming heartless and, you know, being your external self, being, you know, something that is not, you know, you're not soft anymore, you're not flesh anymore. I think it's effective. I think that it works. It's not that the original text was intended this way, but I think it's a great way to tie the Oz stuff in while also being a good representation of a misogynist.
I mean, it is true that the actual real Tin Man never particularly seemed all that heartless. So, like, you know, I guess they were, you know, actually putting that to truth in this version. And if we're going down that line, I kind of did appreciate that in the movie, they put the Cowardly Lion in it for a substantial part, just to show that, you know, also, yes, he is a fucking coward. He's a little fucking bitch. And if they were going to that, you know, maybe, you know, they could have made the Scarecrow, like, dangerously stupid. Like, not just, oh, I don't have a brain. Like, no. Like, someone who genuinely kind of sucks because he's so fucking dumb. Like so many people in the real life of Oz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, it literally is just that, like, I watched it, like, I made all these jokes about, like, the manosphere and, like, Joe Rogan and whatever, but, like, that is what they're doing, right? Yeah. Like, like it's not, like, literally, like, they don't have a podcast in Oz, but, like, if they did, it wouldn't feel amiss. It wouldn't feel out of place with everything else that they did in this movie. And it's not that I don't know that it's bad, but it is, like, every time they would have the Tin Man on screen and, like, have him, like, screaming and, like, being very menacing looking, I was like, right, this is a distinct choice. and it makes sense, but I don't want this at all. And that's the thing, right? It's just like, I don't want it. I don't want this. Like, I got to live it, baby. Like, I don't want this.
Here's what I think, though, is I don't think Act 1 works without Act 2. Like, I mean, like, to me, I think what is effective about, like, watching all of these people be friends at university and go through the dancing through life sequence is that we know where everyone ends up. Which, I mean, to be fair, this might also be me saying, like, Wicked doesn't work if you don't already know the story, but also that's why it's created, right? It's like, oh, you all know the story of the Wicked Witch of the West. You know that she's going to turn out bad. And having all of the characters be tie-ins, I think, creates a really fun sense of, like, tragic inevitability in terms of all the fun stuff. Like, if there wasn't that destination, and if it was just a fun school romp and the endings of these characters were divorced from the Wizard of Oz world, I think, to me, that would remove some of the stakes. I mean, it can be kind of like, oh, this is how Han Solo got his name. Like, I do think that that's totally fair, but I think that gives the emotional resonance to Act 1 that makes it more fun to watch. At least for me as a misery enjoyer, which, you know, does color my perspective.
Because the thing is, like, you get to the end of the first movie and it's like, it's not, I don't think of it as like a sad ending, right? Like, that movie gets there and it's like, it's a détente.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, we have taken this place where we started, where this is how Oz is. And, like, it's a little bit of, like, the Empire Strikes Back ending, but, like, she still gets that power. You still, like, it could go down a way where, like, she could save the animals. Like, that could happen. Like, we know that she's the Wicked Witch of the West. And so, like, she's not going to be the one that does it in the end. But the reason why I'm satisfied with the end of Act 1 as an ending is because it's a two-hander, right? Like, that ends. And if I watch The Wizard of Oz after that, then I know that, like, the Wicked Witch of the West just eventually, like, lost her shit. But, like, here we have this Dorothy Gale character who comes in kind of like a relay race, picks up where Elphaba left off. And, like, when we get to the end of The Wizard of Oz, everybody's happy. And everything seems fine. So I'm like, well, I guess good old Dorothy Gale, like, generationally speaking, it didn't get solved with Elphaba, but, like, the generation beneath her took care of it. And that's good enough for me. And then I watch Wicked for good and I'm like, Manosphere, no. And also, like, truly, like, the Prince Fiero and Elphaba, I feel nothing.
And
I just, like,
yeah.
It's it's really hard for me. And, like, yes, I do. Like, it's funny because, like, every time, like, I have to be like, what's his name? Because, like, it's like Prince Fiero, Princess Fiona from Shrek. Like, she ends up being an ogre at the end in order to be able to be with Shrek. And, like, he becomes also, like, a beastly thing and he gets to be with Elphaba. And it's like,
you're right.
I love Shrek. Great.
It is
cool.
Shrek.
But also, like, but here, literally, here's Glinda. Like, here is Glinda, and the Glinda Elphaba thing is so much better that, like, again, it's like, it wouldn't matter if this movie was good or bad. I would be watching it and going, like, but I know I'm not going to get what I want, and it's going to drive me crazy.
I feel like the movie doesn't want you to care very much about Fiero in the second act, and to me, that was not a bug at all. But, like, and some people, this was a criticism for some people, but, like, that was the least horny rendition of "As Long as You're Mine" I've ever seen. Like, they're just kind of not even really singing it at each other for most of the song. They're just kind of, like, walking around in knitwear. But I feel like the movie is almost like, yes, we know, you know, he's here to give the movie a PG rating, and he's here because there needs to be a scarecrow, and because this was made in 2003, and because Elphaba needs a getaway driver. But, like, there's a reason why they say, like, Glinda and Elphaba say "I love you" to each other, but they don't. And I think John M. Chu even had to fight to keep that in the movie. But, like, she doesn't say it to Fiero, you know? Like, I feel like the movie knows that no one is invested in Elphaba and Fiero as a romance, and as a result doesn't really try to make you care, which I'm fine with personally.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's a feature, not a bug. How did you feel about the special effects or the makeup for the Scarecrow?
I like that they made him look like Norbert Leo Butz. He did not look like Norbert Leo Butz. I respect that.
He did look very different. It did not look like the same guy.
I don't know. Listen, here's what I'll say. the sequence where Glinda and Elphaba are on either side of the door, like just singing into the door. I have no notes. That's the best part of the whole damn movie as far as I'm concerned.
It's so good. Have y'all seen Doctor Who? Because it was really reminding me of, yep. And I just wonder if it was intentional. And I feel like it probably wasn't. It's probably just me being like Boss Baby vibes, but also...
Well, wait, we'll say what it is out loud so that people know what you're talking about.
The episode where Rose gets like the other dimension and there's like the other 10th Doctor and she's like banging on the wall.
No clue what any of that means.
It's the season 2, episode 13 episode. It's titled Doomsday.
I also don't care.
Shut up, Todd. It aired in like 2006 or 2007. And yes, like, by the way, if you really want to know something fun, when that happens, if you play Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen from the Highlander movies, it syncs up perfectly.
Just like the Wizard of Oz syncs up.
And Pink, yeah,
see? There you go.
Yes.
The connections are there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, Wicked.
You nailed it, Sarah.
Wicked for Good kind of like the extra space helped, and I actually did appreciate the "There's No Place Like Home" scene, not necessarily the song, which immediately disappeared from my memory, but like it felt like, you know, just to establish stakes. But like, even if I hadn't seen the musical, I think I would have pegged that. I was like, okay, that's a new song that was not originally there, just because it felt like it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't remember what was in the original musical. I did not. So even still, I was like, yep, that's a new one.
Did you have the same feeling for Girl in the Bubble?
Is that a new one?
Yeah.
You know, it's been, a few weeks since I saw it. I did not actually remember that existed. So
yeah,
I couldn't remember which one it was.
It's 2 new songs, one for Glinda, one for Elphaba. I don't think either of them are particularly good. That's my biggest critique of the movie as someone who really enjoyed it.
Yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters does not have any contenders for that Oscar. It's going to get that best song Oscar. Wicked.
Oh yeah.
Is Sinners
was the only thing that was
Sinners still eligible this year? Or was that last year?
Sinners is this year.
Sinners. Okay.
But it's going to go.
You don't think?
It's going to go to K-pop Demon Hunters.
Maybe.
I was just waiting to see how the Wicked songs turned out to see if they had half a chance. But the new songs for the movie version of the musical are always bad. They're always bad. No one cares about them. I was like, it's like maybe if Cats had been good, the song might have had a chance. But Cats was not good, as we recall. I guess Avita won for their new song back in '96, but nothing since, and that was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, at long last, Madonna got to add a really sad sack song and win for it.
Do you know what was a good new song for a musical movie? Mean Green Mother from Outer Space. Little Shop of Horrors. That was for the movie. I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure. But I do not think it's originally in the stage show.
Oh yeah, well it wouldn't be because they gave the good ending.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it for the movie.
So yeah, it would have to be.
So, but that was all the way back in 1986.
And it's in fact better, I think, than the other song. The song that's I forget the name of it off the top of my head. The one where you get the bad ending,
right?
Where you didn't get all the Chaos Emeralds. And
to think it lost to Take My Breath Away from Top Gun that year.
So dire out here for new songs.
It's rough stuff. Yes,
yeah,
as established on Blue Sky. Follow us both on Blue Sky. Todd believes that Little Shop of Horrors is Frank Oz's best movie as a director, and I am floating the possibility that Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is a contender. I feel pretty strongly. You know what it is? It's that I love the ending of that movie so much.
All right.
But it's all I can think of. Anyway, it has nothing to do with anything. What else is there that we can cover, Todd? I mean,
well, I started out trying to say the extra space helped, and it felt like there were stakes, and it didn't feel like we were speeding our way through plot points until we did, and everything with Dorothy just feels so rushed and so pointed. They just all kind of accept that there's this thing happening, but we never even get a hint of it happening. We just have to know in our head that the Wizard of Oz is happening in the background. That was my problem with the play also. And boy, they just get Jeff Goldblum the fuck out of there. was like,
yeah,
oh.
it's frustrating because like there's in rewatching the first Wicked, the thing that struck me most, actually in a way I think more than anything else, is that even though it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes, it's a long fucking movie, it moves. The pacing in that movie is great. And they know exactly how much time to spend on each character and each like part of the story. Like it never feels like there's time wasted. It never feels like we've rushed through something and things happen at a clip. They handle a lot in that first film, but it always feels like it works. And I agree with what you're saying, Todd, just because like you get to Wicked for good and like, I don't know that it's actually time wasted on the fact that Dorothy Gale's doing shit over here, but like it does feel like there's another movie that we're not watching that they're reacting to.
Well, there is.
Which is like, well, yeah, I know. But I just don't know that I find that works. Like, I remember like, I don't know, like you could make a great YouTube series where you have no budget and it's like, I think I think there was a YouTube series where it was like, every episode was like something major had just happened on the other side of the door and now they're reacting to it here. But like that was like, we're on YouTube. We're college students. We have no money. So this is a clever way to reimagine storytelling, right? Like brilliant. But like that's exactly right for who was making it and the medium that it was being told through. This just kind of like, it never quite worked for me. And again, like this is I don't know if I was ever going to be like, this works. I don't know if there was any way that they were going to please me with this. Sarah, did you like this? And if so, why did it work?
For me, I think it did work. I mean, I do agree with the pacing in general. And for me, I think where I would say we needed a little bit more time to breathe is right after No Good Deed. And that's a problem for me in the stage musical too, is she does this like semi-villain song of like, I am never going to do anything good again. And so I wanted to see her embrace her wickedness like she promised. And, instead we cut almost immediately to the mob forming. So I did want to see more of Wicked Witch Elphaba. But to me, I think having another scene that does tie in a little bit more to the Wizard of Oz stuff would not have been bad there, just in terms of like, to be honest, I have not seen the Wizard of Oz movie in a very, very long time. But if I remember correctly, she shows up to like yell at Dorothy and be like, I'm going to kill you and your dog or whatever it is, like before we see her at the castle. It didn't have to be that exact scene. And I do think the fact that they had a lot of material to cram into the length of one movie or the length of one act meant they didn't want to spend time on something that was already in The Wizard of Oz because, it's relying on the fact that everybody's seen it. But I would have liked to see one more scene of Elphaba interacting with what was going on with regards to like the wizard cast, if not Dorothy herself, because I do like the idea of her just sort of, she literally is a plot device. She's not a character in this. And I think that's intentional. And I think that's the right call. But to me, I don't think the problem is that it was tying into the Wizard of Oz stuff too much. I think we just needed like one more scene of connective tissue to let these things tie in a little bit more, actually. But I like it just because it's, again, I just like the dramatic irony. I like I like that everybody is culturally familiar with the Wizard of Oz. And so you're starting to see the story hurtle toward the inevitable conclusion that were shown in the very first song of the first movie of like, oh no, she's going to die and things are going to be really horrible for everybody and there's nothing we can do to stop it. And using something that everybody's already familiar with to be like, oh, the plan is at its next step. Dorothy and her people are assembled and now there's a mob that's forming and now they're going to the castle. I think really worked for me in terms of just creating this feeling of like, oh, the big tragedy is about to happen, and I'm here for that.
Yeah.
But then she lives.
She does, but that's
so
just
there's no tragedy.
The tragedy is that they love each other and they can't be together, and they're so in love, and that's.
I know, but the thing is that like that also. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
You, but like that is one of those things where like I watch the pair of them, Glinda and Elphaba, not be together, and I think. That's because we live in a shitty world. In a just world, these two would be together. And I don't mean like in a just world of Oz. I mean like if our world was right, if our world was fucking normal, then they would have wound up together. That's like that's what serves the story, right? Like, these are the actors you cast. This is the story you told in the first movie. Undeniably, these are the two that go together. And if they're not going to wind up together, like, I have to believe in the narrative that it happened in a way that satisfies, and it doesn't for me, because I find myself going like, but I still live in America on Earth in 2025. And so it's not allowed. It's not an option. They can't be together.
I somewhat disagree. I mean, I agree with you in the sense of like, in a more just world, the subtext would be text. I'm with you there, just in terms of like a fear. I'm sorry, because I do like the Fierro stuff. I love his song. But in a just world, Fierro wouldn't really be in the story very much, or he would be a side character. There wouldn't be like a love triangle plot. But I think that even in the most just of just worlds, they should not end up together in the end. And it might just be that I am, again, a misery enjoyer. But she is the good witch and she is the wicked witch. And I think that needs to be the ending. They need to not end up together. They need to love each other so much, and they need to not end up together.
See, but I love opposites attract as a thing, right? This is why, like, when I watch Star Trek, I'm like, people are like, Worf and Deanna Troi don't make any sense together. I'm like, they make perfect sense. And also, if we lived in a just world, then the two opposites that attract would have been Worf and Data. Like, that's who would have wound up together. Worf and fucking Data.
That's brave.
Go back and rewatch all 7 seasons of that show and tell me you don't see it. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just the opposite. I'm a sucker for a love story. I love a happy ending, and I want them to be together. And it breaks my heart in a way that's not like I can be heartbroken in a way that's satisfying. This I watched and I just go, it's too perfect. I need it. I have to have it. It breaks my heart that they're not together. And like, not just that, but that Glinda can't know that Elphaba's still alive. Like, that hurts me too bad. It just wrecks me.
I'm not down with her faking her death simply because that doesn't make any sense. Like, how did you do it? How did you set this up? Was that magic? I don't know. That was just like shoehorn in there to give them a happy ending, I guess.
We
a happy-ish ending.
Like a Vince Gilligan, like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, like Mike Ehrmantraut arts and crafts moment where we're just watching Elphaba silently assemble like a trapdoor in a rig with the bucket of water.
Fierro was in on it. Like, Fierro, what were you doing the entire time during the events of The Wizard of Oz? Just playing along. He's like, yeah, she's an awful witch. We gotta go kill her. What were you doing, Fierro? Skipping down the fucking yellow brick road with that psychopath boss. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I don't know.
Make any sense.
There's way too many things that you can pick apart. And like, listen, I can see a world where I come back to this movie and have developed enough apathy to be able to enjoy it for what it is. Yeah. Like, and that happens, right? Like it's true that like there are things that I think my criticisms are legitimate. And then there are aspects of it where it's like, I'm doing that thing that critics are not supposed to do, which is say, I would have done this movie differently. Like, here's how I would have written it. And like, that's not good critique. That's just being a fan of a particular world and particular characters and just wanting a thing. That's not about critique. That's about desire.
I gave this a positive review. Like, I was like, I'm happy I'm seeing a movie with a bunch of good songs, I guess. And it didn't really, even though it was much easier for me to pick out the bad things about it than the good things. But like, even the second movie, I was like, when Jeff Goldblum has this big second song, I really like that a lot. What's the name of it? Wonderful, yeah, the one about, showbiz,
yeah.
baby. It was like, I was like, you're so charming. I love you, Wizard of Oz. I'll vote for you forever. Although I can say, like, I came away with a pretty negative impression of the Munchkins after this. Also, I was like, you're directly oppressed by the fucking wizard. There are restrictions on you everywhere, and you it's one thing in the movie when the Wicked Witches act like actively threatening them, but like
really
that never happens. Yeah.
They're not blaming their true oppressor?
Yes.
Really makes you
like, okay, I see what you're saying about the Munchkins. They're fucking morons. They're dumbass fucking morons.
That's right. The Munchkins are the white working class.
They absolutely are. They are 100% that.
Anyway, back to my prison abolitionist like
No more
attitude
cages,
about the
no
ending
more
and why it's
cages.
bad.
What should happen
I'm
to horrible?
I'm not saying you can't oppose prisons. I'm just saying you can't get mad at, that Oz hasn't solved it yet.
What? But they didn't have it. No, I stand by it. I am going to stand by this until the day I die.
Right.
There were no cages in Oz. They literally brought them in when they were not necessary. It's in the first movie. They literally have a scene where like the lion is in a cage and they go, this is called a cage because it never fucking existed before. And at the end, they should have been like, and now let's burn all the cages because like we didn't need them before. The wizard is gone. We don't need them now.
I don't know. Maybe we did need them because
maybe they just killed all of the criminals before. Maybe there were no cages because they just killed everybody. Maybe they need
like the existence of a piece of shit like the wizard
if I
kind
see
of like
a problem here. No. No,
anyway,
I mean, like, listen, I could explain how it is that would work, but that would require us really going down a brick road that is not made of. It's not yellow. It's not anything. It's just a lot. It's actually a road made of soap boxes. So let's not do that. But yes, anyway. It does actually bother me. And yeah, I mean, like ultimately, I think that the stuff that I'll never be able to let go of is that like the puzzle pieces feel like they don't quite line up between The Wizard of Oz as presented in Wicked for Good and the other story being told in Wicked for Good. Like it just feels like I'm like having to like bang the table to get the pieces in there and it just doesn't quite work. And I think that as criticism is probably the one that most people have. And I think it's the most legitimate one.
One thing really quick. We do actually see them building the yellow brick road. We see them paving it in the thing. And they make clear that the bricks themselves are not yellow. They're painted. But they're painted yellow all the way around before they're laid. What the fuck is the point of that?
The wizard doesn't understand civil engineering because he's a showman and not an engineer. It is a beautiful, characterful symbol of the wizard as an incompetent leader.
I agree
it's
completely.
The most brilliant part of this whole movie, actually. It's the key to this whole thing.
I
that was
agree.
The best part of this entire podcast. I can't believe, Todd, you asked a question that seemed so ridiculous, and Sarah had the perfect answer. Just like the first Wicked movie. It was perfect. I don't think we need to hear any more.
One thing really quick. When Sexy Fiero the Scarecrow makes his appearance for the first time, what I said was, hey, baby, you feel like a roll in the hay? And I thought that was very funny.
I think that's quite good.
Yes.
I think this movie did not need to be perfect. It was messy. But for me, the intricate details of the plot are not like ever going to be the emotional core of the show. It's the characters. It's specifically the relationship between Elphaba and Glinda. But I love Nessa. I know we didn't talk about Nessa very much in this. I love what a fucking freak she is in this. I love her becoming a dictator because she loves too hard. I really like what they did to change, the rough stuff in the musical. I think that the tragedy and the joy of like all these college friends going in different paths because the world is fascist and there's this tragic Dooms Yuri love story that hit for me, and that's all that needed to hit for me.
I liked what they did with Bach and Nessa in this one, and like when we catch up to them, it's just kind of not a thing anymore. Like Bach was like, you were always kind of my silver medal, and it's done. And then her using her dictator powers to keep him from leaving, and you can see him becoming bitter. Like I don't remember how it happened. I don't remember how it happened in the play, but I did like that. Yeah, that felt really good. I mean, one real quick problem I have with both versions of it, I am not clear at all what has happened or how long has passed between Act 1 and Act 2. It feels like it could be 3 weeks or 5 years.
I think it's meant to be closer to the latter. I think it's supposed to be a while.
I was absolutely not clear during the stage show. It felt a little more solid in this one, but it still was like, I'm not clear how long we've been out.
However long it takes to pave a road, ?
Well,
are we done?
thank you for listening, and thank you, Sarah, for being the face of For Good is Good, actually.
Thank you for indulging me.
Is important. You were doing the important work.
I'm honored.
I don't feel like we were indulging anyone. This was just a good, solid... Like, if anything, you're indulging us.
This is truly a double wide episode of Song versus Song.
How long have we been talking?
It's been like an hour 20.
Oh my God.
It's been a minute.
It's normal. That's normal.
Okay. Well, do we feel like we've done? Do we think we've done it? Have we been changed? I don't think we've been changed for the better, but have we been changed for good?
No.
Oh. Well, I have.
All right. Well, I haven't been changed in the last 15 years. I have made no growth and no progress. So, but I'm not getting worse.
It's the most depressing thing you've ever said. Goodbye, everybody.
Yep.